Hi everybody and welcome back to Complicated Relationships Reddit Stories. Hope you guys are safe and healthy. Now let's see what the story is about today. In today's story, OP says, my ex-fiance cheated on me. I picked up myself and came back stronger than ever. I met my ex-fiance, let's call her Jane, 7 years ago at a coffee shop. We hit it off immediately and even sat and drank the coffee together. We eventually exchanged numbers before going our separate ways. At first, I was very hesitant to get serious with her because I had just started as an analyst at a large investment bank and the hours were absolutely brutal. However, after a few dates with Jane, it was clear that I was falling for her and she had felt the same way about me. I brought up concerns about my working hours causing our relationship to fail. Still, she told me that she really liked me, so we stayed committed and we were understanding towards one another. She was patient and understanding and never made me feel guilty about the super late nights spent at work and not with her. To everyone's surprise, we were going stronger than ever, where all my fellow analysts' relationships failed. During this period, I decided that the time was right for me to start recruiting for private equity roles. If successful, my hours will be drastically reduced and my already insanely high pay would increase even more. I bought a ring and proposed to her while we were on vacation in Spain. She said yes and I was on top of the world. Now, this is the part where everything goes bad. She was in the shower one day and had left her phone on the bedside table. I had just the slightest urge to snoop. At this point, she had done nothing at all that would lead me to suspect that she was cheating. I just had a slight urge, and it's not like she was ever going to find out that I snooped. Long story short, I checked her phone and found out a name, a female in her chats that I did not recognize. I clicked and what I saw simultaneously enraged me and broke my heart. Lots of sweet nothings, pics, etc. Even some text comparing the size of mine to his. I was shaking quite badly and feeling so sick that I put the phone down and went out to have a breather. My thoughts were racing as I strolled down the sidewalk. My first thought was that maybe this was my fault and that she just wanted to feel loved and I could not give her much attention due to my work. Pathetic, right? I wanted to confront her when I got back, but I was afraid to because I loved her dearly and confronting her might ruin us. My thoughts continued running wild, ranging from, hey, this is not bad, right? It's just a couple of texts. It's not like they slept together. You just have to put in a little more effort and she will love you again, to how dare she do something so disgusting to you behind your back. I ultimately decided that I needed more proof before making a decision, as if the text weren't enough. I went and bought a small camera and hid it on top of a shelf in the corner of our bedroom. Later that night, I checked the footage and saw exactly what I was hoping not to, her getting railed by the guy she was texting. Any hopes of reconciliation and any love that I still had for her was instantly thrown out of the window. I cried harder than I ever cried in my 25 years of existence. When I had calmed down, I went to my best friend's house, had a drink and planned my next move. He suggested that I don't confront and end the engagement outright, at the same time act cordial around her until I had found a new job, hopefully in private equity, and a new flat, then block her number, email and on all forms of social media and move out while she's at work. One day I'd be kissing her goodbye in the morning and next I'd be gone like I never existed. I told him that I prefer to move to a whole new continent, probably New York, where I'd truly be gone. The next month was the most difficult that I ever had to endure. Being around Jane anytime I was at home and having to act normal was awfully painful. I could barely look her in the eyes without feeling the urge to confront her. But I was managed to put on a brave face and act cordial towards her. We even slept together a few times, which left me feeling disgusting and weak. She had told everyone that we were engaged, and when she brought up the wedding, I lied that we might have to wait a few months as things were heating up at work and I would be very busy. I gave the same answer to our mutual friends and family who were now calling us to congratulate. I broke down in the office toilet a few times late at night, knowing she was probably sleeping with AP at that very moment. It was a miracle that I managed to hold out for as long as I did. Me staying at the office as late as possible or just walking around the city when I finished earlier than usual helped a lot. Meanwhile, I was reaching out to headhunters in New York, hoping to recruit for private equity associate roles and studying for their LBO modeling exams. One Friday night, I went out with my best friend and another friend. We ended up mingling with a group of people that my friends knew. Among them was one of the most beautiful girls that I had ever seen. I talked to her for a bit and we got on well. Her name was Eliza and she was Swedish. She was absolutely stunning. We had a lot in common. She was doing her master's and doing the exact same program that I did. I was planning to jet off to New York ASAP, but I couldn't resist exchanging numbers with her. We ended up going on a few dates, and for the first time in weeks, I was genuinely happy. One night, we confided in each other our deepest feelings. She brought up how she was cheated on by her ex and had absolutely no respect for cheaters. I then explained to her my current situation, and she laughed, not at me, but in amusement on how I was going to drop a sledgehammer on Jane. She then asked if there is any chance that I would stay and not leave to New York. I said I would consider it, but deep down, I no longer wanted to leave. Her views on infidelity assured me that she would never betray me in such a horrible way like Jane did. Now, some may say that I'm cheating on Jane and I'm just as evil as her now. She cheated first, so from that point on, I had no obligation to remain faithful to her any longer. I got an offer to join the New York office of a large private equity fund. After inquiring about joining the London office instead, the managing director put me in touch with a counterpart in London. I got the offer to join the London office. I was overjoyed. I held a small celebration at my apartment to celebrate my achievement. I asked Eliza to come too, and she gladly accepted. She came and gave me a kiss and a hug, telling me how proud she was of me. We sat around the island in my kitchen, talking, laughing, and having a great time. A little later, Jane came home, probably after sleeping with AP. We glanced at the door to see who has come in, but otherwise did not acknowledge her presence. At the dinner table, Jane tried to insert herself between me and Eliza, but ended up having to sit on my other side. I ignored Jane and had my body turned towards Eliza the whole time. Around 2 a.m., everybody decided to pop off to go home. I put on my shoes and followed them. Jane asked me where I was going with a tinge of worry in her voice. I said I'll be back in a bit and went to Eliza's place, came back home in the morning. I muted my phone before going to bed because Jane was blowing up my phone with text messages and calls. When I got home, Jane was sitting at the kitchen looking dejected. Her eyes and nose were red from crying. If this was before she had betrayed me, my heart would have broken for her and I would have done anything to cheer her up. But after what she had done, I felt nothing, not even a shred of sympathy. "Where were you?" she asked. I said I fell asleep in the car and told her that I had to go to work. I promised her that I will come home early and then we'll talk. Then I kissed her forehead gently and told her that I loved her. That was the last fake sincere kiss I ever gave her, and I was glad that I never had to do it again. Later, I came back to my old apartment, packed my stuff and went to my friend's house. Me and Eliza made our relationship official and we were extremely happy together. As for Jane, my disappearance hit her like an upcut to her chin that she did not recover for a long time. I blocked her from everything. As for her relationship with AP, I never found out, nor did I care to find out what happened to them. If they want each other, they could have each other. Trash always end up together in a pile. One day at work, I was walking to my cubicle when I was greeted by a guest, a livid Jane standing in my way. She lunged forward and started attacking me, tried to slap me in the face. She fell onto her knees sobbing, saying, "I was so worried. I missed you. Where did you go? I love you. How could you do this to me?" I calmly took out my phone and showed her the video. She started hyperventilating and said, "Look," she said through her heavy breathing, "I can explain. It's not what it's look like. I couldn't help but burst out laughing. The timeline, it's not what it's looked like. She continued softly, I love you. I will always love you. Jane's tears were still flowing as security intervened and escorted her out of the office. Another dose of karma hit Jane about an hour later. I had arranged to meet with Eliza for lunch. When I got to my building lobby, she was already waiting for me. We kissed, then walked hand in hand towards the exit and right into Jane's face. There was an awkward pause with the three of us staring each other. Jane proceeded to fall on her knees again and started bawling. Probably jealous that I left her for someone far more beautiful than her, or probably consumed by guilt and regret. I'd never know, and frankly, I don't care to know. Me and Eliza just sidestepped her and walked into the open. Rest of the story involving Jane has to do with the engagement and her friends and family. But that is a story for another time. Well, OP, this is such an inspiring story. You walked away with grace and started a new life with a clean slate. Congrats on your new engagement. Please like, comment and share the story if you enjoyed it. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you will be notified when we upload the next video. Take care.